Welcome, everyone. If everyone would please take a seat. Welcome to the 2017 Hall of Fame Luncheon. We here with Hardrocker Athletics are very happy that you're here today. This is an exciting day, isn't it? This is one of my favorite days of the year. You're always undefeated on Hall of Fame Day. Again, welcome. Thank you for attending today. We appreciate everybody being here. To kick things off, I'd like to recognize a few folks around the room. If I could please start with Dr. Paul Gnurk. Would you stand up for a moment, Paul? Yeah, if you could just recognize Paul, please. Thank you. Paul, thank you for your support of our lunch. I really appreciate it. This is a good event. Very good. Any current Hall of Famers? Anybody who's not being inducted today, but currently in the Hall of Fame? Do we have any? There we go. And do we have any former coaches with us today? We have a great group of folks here today. Personally, I've been here about 2 months. School of Mines is a special place. When you were part of the School of Mines here in South Dakota, this is the best of the best. No question about it. This is going to be a fun day. We're going to hear from a lot of different people today. I'm really looking forward to that. The first person we're going to hear from today is Joel Lucan, and then after Joel speaks, then we will start serving lunch.
Well, it's great to see everybody here today. Welcome to the Christensen Hall of Fame on campus of South Dakota School of Mines on this very, very special day in Hardrocker athletic history. I'm fond of saying that it's a great day to be a Hardrocker, and today's one of those days that just makes it an even better day to be a Hardrocker. I want to take a minute, and I want everybody to I want to recognize a few people. I'd like you to clap when I'm done. But I can't do what I do in the athletic department. We can't run in the athletic department without that young lady sitting in the back there, Tiffany McCampbell, who's our associate AD in SWA. Mother of twin boys, by the way, that just Kemper and Crosby. How old are they now? 4 months old. Yeah. And assistant AD athletic communication, Brad Bloom, right there, man behind the camera. There's assistant Ken. Anita Brenneman, who's in there getting all the tickets and stuff to go, and she helped Tiffany organize all this. Director of the Hard Rock Club, associate AD, Kevin Price. Assistant Sandy Carlson, who's not able to make it here today. I'd also like to recognize our interim president, Dr. Jan Pushinsky. And then, of course, Mr. Gnurk for helping to sponsor this. And just so you know, it's really hard for Mr. Gnurk to get up, which is why he didn't want to get up earlier. He's kind of old and cantankerous. Thank you. I became the Hardrocker athletic director on June 2nd of 2014. Don't tell Doc P, but I haven't worked a day since. It's something, something that I love. I found something that I love to do. It starts with the kids. July 31st is usually kind of a rough time for me, and then the kids show up, and I get all energetic and enthusiastic about what's going on. And then they become graduates, and then they become individuals like people sitting in the room here. The purpose for the Hardrocker Hall of Fame is to recognize individuals, teams, and supporters who have distinguished themselves in the field of intercollegiate athletics at South Dakota School of Mines, either by virtue of their performance on athletic teams representing the college, or by meritorious I'm gonna butcher this, meritorious efforts on behalf of the athletic department or the college. Enshrinement into the South Dakota School of Mines Hardrocker Hall of Fame is truly the highest honor the athletic department can bestow upon a former scholar athlete, teams, administrators, and supporters. Today we'll honor 4 former outstanding Hardrocker scholar athletes, the 83-84 men's basketball team, and a couple who have been loyal Hardrocker fans and supporters for more years than I've been alive, which is an amazing thing. If we happen to have some, here's some logistical information. If we happen to have some rain during the basketball or the football game today at halftime, we've got a tent set up where our presidential tailgate is taking place for all the Hall of Fame members. If it happens to be raining, we'll stay in the tent. We've got this wonderful new scoreboard with these amazing cameras. We'll be able to zoom right in on you, and we'll put you right up on the scoreboard. If it's not raining, we want you to come down onto the track about the 3-minute mark of the second quarter, and then we'll get you out onto the field, and we'll also put a picture up of you there. But this is a great day. It's a great day to be a Hardrocker. Thank you all for making the trip up here. What a wonderful day, and let's begin eating. In a couple minutes we'll start our program. Thanks.
We're going to move forward with our program. I would like to bring up Tom Rubush to introduce the 83-84 men's basketball team.
Great to see everyone here today. This is really a special day for me, as Kevin had alluded to Joel. When this started over 10 years ago now, we've had just a tremendous amount of pride in the athletic department. The honorees are so grateful for the school's recognition, and I'm just happy that we have so many people I haven't seen for years. And I'm going to take just a minute, if I could, take some, I don't know what they call it, executive privilege or something, just for a minute to recognize some of these other people. Megan, gosh, I will never forget your efforts both on the volleyball and basketball courts. It was great. I looked at Barry Granger. Barry, I don't know if Barry understands this, but Barry, your final year was 1980, and that was the first year I started broadcasting Hardrocker football. So you were going out and I was coming in. You still look like you could play.
No way.
David Becker, of course, I remember, I still say that I don't know if I've seen a better point guard than we had with David those 3 years. Great. I haven't seen David since he left school, so this is quite a thrill for me. Don and Marge Range. Don and Marge and I have been friends for a long time. Some of my most loyal listeners on radio. And finally, I got a brief story. I was just thrilled to see Jim Smith here because you'll hear more about Jim later, but I have one particular story that I'll never forget. It was 2002, and I went to Washington to visit with Jim. I had my assistant with me, and Jim was gracious enough at that time to start the Jim Smith Scholarship, which was an endowed scholarship at the time, and we were just thrilled. And as we were wrapping up our meeting, Jim asked me, "How would you like to visit the White House?" "Oh, I don't have time for that. I can't possibly do that." I'm joking, people. That was an honor to be able to go to the White House, and Jim arranged for a special tour for my assistant and I on a Sunday morning. We went to the White House. We had a complete tour. And remember, this was after 2011, or 2009-11. So there were no tours at that time. President George W. Bush was down at Camp David. And the thrill of a lifetime when the young man who worked in the West Wing took me and let me go into the Oval Office. there, I was able to stand for 10 minutes. Oh, 10 seconds. I think so. It felt like 10 minutes. It was a great honor. And Jim, I've never forgotten that, and I thank you very much for that. Now, on to what I'm here for. 83-84 men's basketball team started a stretch of 3 years, and I don't know if there was a better stretch of 3 years that we saw from those basketball teams, all coached by Jim Campen. And some of the players that we have back today were the very integral parts of the success of those teams. As you can see in the program what their record was, what their accomplishments were. And I'm so happy to see some of these guys back. And I do want to tell the guys that are back that there are no worries. No worries. The statute of limitations is out, and you're welcome back into South Dakota. David, you shouldn't be the one pointing fingers.
I talked to my lawyer before it came.
This was a great team. As I said, Jim Campen coached it. It set like a 3-year period, which if you look back at the records, was probably the greatest 3-year stretch in Hardrocker basketball history. I can't find any 3-year stretch that had more victories and more accomplishments than these 3 teams. So if I could, because I know we want to take a photo of those who are here, so if I can bring you up one at a time, and we'll start out with Jim Benjamin. Jim, if you could come on up. Jim number 2 in the all-time scoring list for the School of Mines. Chuck Leet. Chuck was a center and was one of the taller players on the team. Chuck worked well together. David Becker used to hang on Chuck's arms in practice and try to dunk the ball. Then we have Tom Sarlo. Tom was a great player off the bench. Jim only played about 6 guys, maybe 7 at that particular time, and Tom was in that rotation. Want to bring up David Becker. David. In a few moments, Jim Benjamin will be speaking for the team, and I know that he'll have something to say about David. Pete Curry, very strong forward. As good of a defensive player as we had on the team during those years, he was a tremendous defensive rebounder for the school. So that's your 83-84 men's basketball team. Going into the Hall of Fame. Guys, congratulations, and I know Jim has a few words to say.
I have a few words. Any of you that know me, I don't speak very much, so I'm going to just try to keep this short. Okay? Chuck Leet, by the way, was about 190 pounds when he played, so he's gained a few pounds. So as we all do, we get a little bit overweight, but it has truly been a pleasure. And I want to thank all of the people that have supported the program throughout the years. I come and I know a lot of personal friends now that I've gained by being a Hardrocker, and it's just been fantastic. When it was asked who we wanted to have introduce our team, it was very simple for us because Tom Rudabush was an instrumental part of our program. He was there and being able to encourage us at the beginning of games, at the end of games, at the end of practice. He was a fantastic guy. And he's a very dear friend of mine, and I really appreciate it, Tom. Let's see, 1993, Tom was kind enough, if you can get this, I mean, I would never do it this day and age. Tom lent me and Mike Grabham, another player from South Dakota Tech, his car. And as you can imagine, we're 19 years old, and Tom said, sure, you can take my station wagon. Oh my God, we didn't get 50 miles down the road, we got our first flat tire, and we said, Tom, what do we do? And Tom said, well, you better have to change it. And so we got it changed, and we said, wow. I look back on it now and I think, Tom, why in the world would you have ever lent us your car? But that was
wondering the same thing.
That's the trust we got, and he had the trust in the program. We brought his car back and everything was okay. Took a couple of months to kind of make it, back smooth and normal, but Tom is a fantastic guy. And again, I just want to thank the program and thank the Hardrocker Club and everyone that supports the program. So again, that's all I have. Thank you.
You guys all together. About ran Andy there, big fella. Let's get a picture right here.
You can do it. It is cool.
Tom, where are you going? Tom.
I didn't score 1 point. I didn't score 1 point.
Come on, Tom. Up front, please. Tom. Come on, Tom.
I know it's Photoshop.
Very exciting.
Fantastic. Would everyone please join me in welcoming Barb Felderman to introduce Megan Barnes?
It's so damn good to see you guys. I love those guys. They were feisty and they had just the heart. They had the whole town, I think, embraced too. It was a fun time for men's basketball, wasn't it? Anybody that knows Megan or has seen her play had no doubt this day was coming. She's a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal student, not only double sports, but double majored. And Lori and I always said that we're going to war, we're taking Megan with us. She was determined, and I just was going through, if you ever saw my office, you know I kept everything like a good mother does, and I just found one of her old questionnaires, she filled it out, and her favorite saying was, just do it. And that's kind of how she was. She came to Mines through Connie Mattel, who was the volleyball coach at that time, and she coached you in camp, in high school, or anyway. She came the volleyball route, and praise God, she looked at us and thought maybe we were having some fun and she wanted to join. So it was a great fit. The girls that she joined, just, they were like sisters, a comedic bunch of sisters. We had so much fun, and we didn't have a lot on the team, and at that time I always told them, it's not quantity, it's quality, and that was our premise. I mean, we approached the game very much like that, and the other teams would look over at us and we can outrun those little buggers, but they didn't, did they? Megan could jump out of the gym. You saw the stats in the program there. Phenomenal volleyball player. And I coached volleyball 13 years. I would not want to be on the other side. I imagine she could do some severe damage to me now with no reaction. So it was just really fun to watch her. She could, like I said, jump out of the gym and just so mobile. The team that they had, what was the best you did volleyball-wise?
Probably my sophomore year, 2015.
They also had some fun kids on that team too. It was just a blessing to coach her, and along with that, you get the family. Deb, she wore up 2 Cadillacs. I mean, I don't think you missed a game, did you, Deb? Volleyball or basketball, home or away, she was there. She was just one of those constants. She should have just suited up and traveled on the bus because she was always there. And it was just, you know, we did a Hawaiian trip. Each year we tried to do a fun trip. Kids raised their own money and paid for their own tickets, and we went to Hawaii and they took surfing lessons, and Deb and Kelly even paid for a photographer to go out and take pictures of the kids. And Deb always had her camera, so she's got probably storage like mine, right? all beloved too. But I enjoyed coaching Megan so much fun, so intelligent, and we didn't have managers. We didn't want managers. We were a team. We just, you know, picked up after herself, and, you know, they all did that. Very humble person, and she's starting her own business now. She's gone up and up and up, and now she's going to take over the world. So, Megan, come on up.
Yeah, I got caught up in speech over here.
I'm woefully underprepared here for a speech, so I didn't realize I'm going to speak. But thank you to the Hard Rock Club and everybody for this award. I'm humbled, and it's great. But I'll tell a quick story about Coach Tom. You were there, you know. But one of my favorite stories of Coach was we were playing in Butte, Montana. And Coach got kicked out of the game. As most people know, it happened pretty regularly. And there was a gym window. There was a window in the door of the gym that she could see through, and she was in the window calling plays from outside the gym. We were in a huddle trying to decipher what Coach was trying to tell us. She was like, "Run!" We were all over hand signals. We were trying to decipher it. So we're all looking at each other. Corey, Lisa, and I were like, "What is she saying?" In the end, I think that trip ended up being quite the memorable trip for other reasons as well. But that's one of my favorite memories of Coach was in the gym window trying to call plays out and getting kicked. But I'll keep it short here. But I again want to thank the Hard Rock Club. Want to thank my parents for being there for me. They put on a lot of miles on those vehicles traveling to see me, and they were great, huge support. So thank my husband John as well. He's been there, a huge support for me as well. So this is a special place, and I hope that we can get more great athletes through here and understand that it's a very special place for everyone. So thank you.
I wanted to add, when Megan left here, she moved down to Denver, and she got asked to do some modeling, so she did modeling for a while. Can you believe it?
Fantastic. Will you please join me in welcoming George Becker, who will be introducing David Becker.
I participated in it. Now I gotta wear glasses. Good afternoon, everyone. Robert, let's see, let me get this up. Robert Frost is well known for these famous lines. Two roads diverged in a wood. I took the one less traveled by. That made all the difference. And that is David. I'm off my notes now. He did that quite often at home. We all know individuals who have taken the challenge of following a path which at first glance does not seem to follow what society dictates. David left a secure surrounding of home, traveled to Wisconsin, to South Dakota, to pursue his passion of basketball. Hardworking, he was a team player in high school, outstanding player, as well as the team that he played for, he did really well. Driven to do his best, the School of Mines was a perfect fit for him. Coaches and his teammates challenged him and brought David out the best of what was within him. David harnessed what he learned, same pride he showed on the court, he applied to his career. In the competitive business world, where he's very successful. Rising to the challenge of new situations, self-confident, and outside the box, a team player who works to see others on the team be success, responding to pressure. David has enjoyed success in the sales and marketing field, married with two sons, our wonderful grandson, David and Stephen, who attend UW-Madison. David has provided well for his family. He has modeled the keys of determination and hard work, not only for his sons, but his nieces and nephews. In closing, I'd like to thank the School of Mines and the coaches who offered David the opportunity to attend here, play basketball. I thank you for recognizing him today. As William Jennings Bryan so eloquently wrote, destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a master of choice. It's not a thing to be waited for. It is a thing to be achieved. Thank you, son. On this accomplishment, we are very proud. Thank you.
What he didn't tell you is he couldn't wait. I'm the oldest of four boys. He could not wait for me to get out of the house.
Not true.
Let's see. After I left, my dad, a teacher, my mom stayed at home with me and my younger brothers. Didn't have a dishwasher till I left for college. Didn't have a swimming pool till I left for college. So if he denies the fact that he couldn't wait for me to leave, it's not true. What an honor it is to be here today. I'm so happy to be here in front of my wife Donna and my two sons, David and Stephen, my dad George and his wife Ellen. 30 years is a long time. I'm a little emotional, so bear with me. However, it's gone by so quickly. It's great to be back at this wonderful institution. Thank you to the School of Mines, Joel and Tiffany, for putting the argument today together. A great event. I wouldn't be here today without the support and sacrifice of a number of people. My parents, George and Bonnie, my mother couldn't make it today. For all the practices, the clinics, the basketball games, everything he took us to. My first grade basketball coach from St. Mary's, John Guerin. And even though Jim Benjamin doesn't claim I played any defense, this coach taught me how to play defense. My small fry basketball coach, Dick Milkey. He believed in me. Sixth grade player. I'd only played organized basketball for, this would have been my second year. And it was an elite traveling team for our hometown of Kenosha, Wisconsin. I played in a lot of international traveling tournaments. Picked me for the team in sixth grade. Seventh grade, we ended up in the finals, playing against Puerto Rico and Chicago as seventh graders in front of 3,000 people. Unfortunately, kind of like our games in buildings, we took second. But it was a great experience. Former AD, Doug King. What a guy. I'll leave it at that because there's plenty of other things that we have and people that need to be inducted today. Assistant coach, Steve Miller. The patient, the opposite ego of Coach Camden. He balanced everything out. My teammates, Tom, Keith, Chuck, especially Jeff Fallsgraf and Jim Benjamin. Without those two guys, I wouldn't have the assist record that I have today for a season and over 600 assists for a career. They were great guys to play with and made my job really easy. Trainer, Chuck Clark. No matter what the injury was, he found a way to get me on the basketball court. I had broken fingers, I had broken toes, I had 9 strained ankles, 2 broken ankles, 4 stitches in my lip, and countless blisters. But short of getting thrown out of a game or two, I never was off the court. Coach Hugh Welch, he was my coach my senior year, and I don't think without him I wouldn't be up here today. You probably wouldn't have found him.
I wouldn't have found him.
Yeah. He came from a junior college my senior year and coming to the School of Mines with the level of education and time that needed to be put in. 2-a-days really weren't a great thing to be instituting. And him and I locked horns on that a little bit. But we had a mutual respect for one another, and he did a wonderful thing with this program and brought it along to the next level. And obviously I can't forget Coach Camden. Showed a confidence in me as a player and gave me a second chance. I won't get into all that, but I will tell one story. As we all know, Coach Camden was a very intense coach. Him and Bobby Knight, I believe, were very close friends. But he also was supportive and caring. It was a tough love, to say the least. It was my second game as a freshman. It was the championship game at the Thanksgiving Classic at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center. We were playing against Northern, who was Coach Camden's alma mater. And the last game before this, before I started my college career in high school, we were playing in a tournament to go to the state championship. We held the ball for the last minute or so of the game, and it was a very athletic team from Milwaukee. And I was very nervous at the time. Playing point guard, made a mistake with about 10 seconds left. They stole the ball, went in, and we lost by 1. No state tournament. We should have been there. So obviously my confidence level wasn't very high. So now, second game of my college career. Prior to that game, Coach and I had some disagreements, thank you. And for the early part of the season in our exhibition games, I was on, he used to say there's 3 squads on this team. Becker, you're on the 4th one. So I didn't expect to have very much playing time. And fortunately, the team we were playing against, both of them pressed a lot. And I wish Steve Wilcox was here. Because the only reason I got in the game, because Steve couldn't dribble at all. The guy could shoot like crazy, but they were putting a full court press on and they were eating us up. And fortunately, I handled the ball pretty well. So I had a lot of playing time. Get down to the end of the game. There's a minute left, we're down by 3, and this is prior to the 3-point line and the shot clock. And passing the ball around, they're playing a 2-3 zone. Ball works around a couple of times and comes to me at the top of the key. The defense backs up. I'm shooting it. And it goes. We're down by 1. Put a full court press on, we get a turnover, coach calls timeout. Sets up a play, and the play was not designed for me by any stretch of the imagination. And we wound the clock down, there was about 10 seconds left, and wind up, here I am at the top of the key with the ball again, and the defense backs up again. I shoot it, hits the front of the rim, back of the rim, comes out, we lose. We're shaking hands with the other team. I am trying to avoid Coach Campen like the plague. I'm thinking he is going to absolutely crucify me. Instead, and Tom, I don't know if I told you this story before, but instead, he caught up to me on the way into the locker room, put his arm around me, and he said, "Becker, there's only one thing I want to know." So what's that, Coach? He said, "If you had the shot to shoot again, would you take it?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "That's all I wanted to know." Patted me on the ass and ran into the locker room. That's what the School of Mines is all about. This experience and so many others I can't mention today have helped me both personally throughout my life and my career. My wife, Donna, 28 years together. My 2 sons, David and Stephen. These kids continue to amaze me every day. They make such great choices that I didn't always make. Professionally, I've had the opportunity, as my dad said, to be a part of a number of businesses, own a couple of them, and I've been very, very happy in my career. And none of those things would have happened without the experiences that happened here at the School of Mines. Now, overall, the experience at the School of Mines during my career was very special. I was challenged both academically and athletically. The facility, the community, and the student body has proved today we're great supporters on and off the court. I thank all of you for the honor of being here today, and I hope you continue to look back on the years and support the faculty, the supporters, the students, and the athletes of the past. Go Rockers. All right. She wants me.
Okay.
David, clothes like that, and you'll be helping me do some fundraising for the Hardrocker. So I appreciate that very much. Will everyone please join me in welcoming Tony Jensen, who will be introducing Barry Granger.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's great to see some old faces, 1983, even earlier. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Absolute pleasure to be here and honored to have a chance to introduce you to Barry Granger. First met Barry in 1980. I was a freshman coming on campus for the first time. And Barry was a senior, captain of the football team. He was a middle linebacker. And Barry had started out his career at Portland State University in New York. But he played his high school football here in New Rapids City. Well, he decided that he was going to return and finish his academic and his athletic career here in South Dakota. And he joined the football team, and he already in his first year here was named to the 1978 SDIC All-Conference team. But I hope Barry talks about it, and I think he probably will. I hope one of his fondest memories is the 1980 team. And that's a team that really gelled and started being recognized nationally. Barry was the captain. There's no doubt the leader the team was. In that year, we had the defense that allowed 59 points all season against us. So the yards allowed were 174 per game. As I said, I don't know that there's a team, on defense coach that has had a record like that since, but certainly not before. Rightfully so, Barry, in that year was once again recognized as an all-conference member in the conference SDIC. He was also recognized as an all-conference member of the NAI District 12. And even more importantly, and equally importantly, he was recognized as all NAIA, honorable mention, All-American, which I think we only have a few here at the school. Now, Barry wasn't the fastest guy on the team. He surely wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest either. But if you asked him, and he would not hesitate to remind you, he thought he was the best looking guy on the team. Maybe so, but you didn't do that. But there are two attributes I think that has Barry here today, and certainly well over his entire career. And the first I'm just going to call strategic intelligence. And Barry just had a knack of knowing where to be, when to be there, how to get there. He didn't have to be the strongest or the fastest. He knew how to place himself, he knew how to place his teammates in the right spot. So that's the first thing I call him. The second thing is Barry's just an incredible leader. Just people wanted to follow Barry. He was, well, again, those of you that knew him, certainly Jim Schultz, Rick knew him well. He always had plenty to say. But it really wasn't his actions that caused us to lead Barry, it was his actions. It wasn't what he said, it was his actions that caused us to follow him. I have a quick story that I wanted to share. We played skeletal, and skeletal means that the offensive backs and the offensive receivers go against the defensive backs and linebackers. And Barry had called a play called hammer. That means the cornerbacks, I was a cornerback, rotate up into the flat area, and that's your responsibility, that's what you do. And the quarterback called the play, and the receiver came out to me, did a chair, I let him go, because my range of responsibility, and the safety was supposed to have deep hands. But the safety wasn't there, and the ball went way up over the top for a touchdown. And, I wasn't too worried about that. I knew what my responsibility was, and I was heading back to the huddle when I saw Coach Gary Boner coming at me like a freight train. And Gary had, those of you that know, his hat was already off to the side, and he could run pretty fast. He was coming right at me. And I don't know what hit me first, whether it was his clipboard or the sunflower seeds coming out of his mouth. He was giving me all kinds of words of wisdom there. And as a freshman, I wasn't going to talk back to Coach Boner at all. And all of a sudden, I didn't see Barry coming, but he just simply put his hand in between Coach Boner and myself, put his arm around my pads, and led me back to the huddle. Never said a word to Coach Boner. Never said a word to me. He just simply knew that I got this, Coach. We don't need your help on this side of the ball. When I stood back in the huddle, I looked back and I saw Sonny Coyle, who really stands beside Barry today. And he went over and had a nice little word with Coach Boner. And I don't think in my 4 years I ever saw Coach Boner on the defensive side of the ball. These attributes that I call strategic intelligence and leadership serve very, 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 very well in his commercial business experience as well. And no matter what he accomplished here at school, he's done magnitudes more of that in his career. Fabulous career. He spent his career really with blue chip companies, starting out with Dow Chemical, Mike Jackson, Texas, where he went to Shell, and that was a bit. And then he also spent a little time with Chrysler and spent most of his time with DuPont. And he rose to the highest levels of DuPont. He, in his most recent posting until his return just this last year, was the Vice President of Government Marketing and Government Affairs for the entire international aspects of DuPont. You know how big that company is, and you can imagine how complex and sophisticated that role was. Just want to call out a bit of his bio. Barry received his Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering here at the school, but he also went to achieve some higher aspirations and learn more about business by attending and achieving an MBA in Industrial Management at Indiana University. He received the prestigious Consortium Fellowship for Graduate Studies in Management, and in 2016, Barry was recognized as one of the most influential black leaders in corporate America by Savoy Magazine. And then just this last year, again in 2016, this school did the right thing and recognized Barry as a distinguished alumni. Barry's a proud father of three. Cameron and Dylan are his boys. Liz is his daughter. They are all grown and almost out of school. Liz is the youngest at Boston College. He's joined today with his beautiful wife, Michelle, in the back. She's also a chemical engineer from Rice University. And I would submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's absolutely fitting and proper that we induct Barry M. Granger into the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology Athletic Hall of Fame. Barry?
Well, Dave, I'm 37 years out of here, and it was a wonderful experience. So thank you first, Tony, for those kind words. You know, it's kind of hard to kind of stand up here and, you know, take in all the accolades that people have given you because, you know, quite frankly, I just thought it was the right thing to do at the time. So let me just say a couple things and lighten this place up. The first one was, Tony mentioned the defense. And I was honored to see our 1980 team and being inducted several years ago, because that's what it was really all about at the time. We had phenomenal players all across our team. I did play with Rick Wass in 1978, and we also had a very good defense then too. It was by design. Okay? You see Rick today, he was a little bit smaller, but he was one of those stocky fullbacks. And our defense realized that if we didn't get a turnover somewhere around the 20-25 yard line of the opponents, we wouldn't score because Rick couldn't do an 80-yard run. And we made him look good too, but well-deserved honor to see Rick in the Hall of Fame. You know, and I did have the opportunity to see Hugh Boyle play. For those of you, there was a basketball team before the 1983 team. And I'm sure people talked about your career in the past, but thanks and great to see you also. I look at Rick and Hugh as people that kind of took me under their wings. Tony, he was the guy that came onto the team as a freshman, and you know, he already told you some of the stories about our relationship. But the fun part about it was having an opportunity to work with, you know, your fellow teammates and being able to kind of put your arm around some of the freshmen that were out there. And so thank you for all the support. My wife, Michelle, is in the back. I told somebody last night at the dinner, yes, I did marry up. Actually, she's got 2 degrees, chemistry, chemical engineering from Rice University. And if many of you know, Rice is kind of the Ivy League of the South. So I was pretty proud of that minor degree, and I still am. But she did, we've been married over 32 years and have 3 wonderful children. So thank you and for joining joining me today in this wonderful opportunity. I can't not talk about Sonny Boy. For those that you that might not have known Sonny, he was the defensive coordinator for South Dakota football in the 70s and 80s. Many people have asked me, how did I get to South Dakota Tech? I know my good looks might have got here, but there's not too many African Americans there at South Dakota Tech. Sonny was a high school referee for football. I played my high school at Douglas. He used that opportunity to actually recruit players from South Dakota into the school. He talked to me after one game, and I said, no, thank you. I prefer to go to another location. I wasn't aware of what I was going to do in the future. But I decided to go to the East Coast, play some football. After about a semester, realized it wasn't the right thing for me. I came back home just to work and maybe catch up on keeping my academics going forward, and then figure out life after that. I got a phone call in January of 1978 from Sonny Boy, out of the blue. Said, why don't you come over to the school and let's talk about what you're going to do in life next. I said, who are you? So, make a long story short, I took up his invitation, and within 2 days I was enrolled in the School of Mines. I planned to be a chemical engineer. And that spring I played spring football and played almost every down on defense that I could for 3 years. But Sonny was the type of person that if you look at those years from 1970 and 1980, and if you look on the wall of the defensive players, and many others that aren't on the wall, and should be eventually, they were all under Sonny Boy's development. And he was more than a coach. He was, quite frankly, a father to me. And he followed me all the way until he couldn't anymore. And I heard from him monthly on some years, and then no quarter I haven't heard from him. I'd call him and just check on him. But there was a quality about him that just motivated young people and kept young people in the game, like myself. And so I just say thanks, Sonny. I know he's in the Hall of Fame, and if he's looking down on us right now, I thank him. He'd probably say, shut up, Granger, and go play. I also can't help to say I got to mention Coach Boner. You know, quite frankly, I learned to respect Coach Boner. He was an interesting guy, but he had a unique relationship too with players that I thought helped motivate the team in ways that we didn't really realize at the time. So those two people were very influential. I wish they were here today to be able to participate in this. But I know they're watching over me and many others that are in the room too, so I just wanted to mention that. Final note, just want to thank the athletic department, the president, and where's Vicky? Is it Tiffany. I want to thank Tiffany too. She's the one that got us all organized here around this for this great honor, and I am truly blessed and humbled, and I thank you very much.
Will you please join me in welcoming Larry Simonson, who will be introducing Don and Marge Range.
asked Coach Henry to pass out a couple of sheets of paper that have some pictures of Don and Marge that I put together for them. So if I could break from tradition a little bit and ask Don and Marge to come up and join me, can you do that? So thank you for providing me the opportunity to introduce Don and Marge Range as they are inducted into the Hard Rock Hall of Fame as builders. I've had the privilege of knowing Don and Marge for the past 20 years. I remember well when Don and his classmates attended their 50-year graduation in 2001. Don especially enjoyed spending time with 3 of his 1951 electrical engineering classmates who also attended. I also distinctly remember visiting Don and Marge on several occasions at their winter home in Gold Canyon, Arizona. Don and Marge's connection to athletics at Mines is rather interesting and is largely attributable to a couple who were common household hard rocker names for many years. Many in this room will remember John and Blanche Hanton. John Hanton was the equipment manager for the athletic teams. Blanche Hanton was Don's aunt, his mother's youngest sister. John and Blanche lived on Thunderhead Falls Road and were neighbors to Barb and Lori, hence the strong connection to Lady Hard Rocker basketball. Don and Marge would bring Blanche to basketball games. John and Blanche had started an athletic scholarship, and that planted a seed for Don and Marge. They could do the same. Don and Marge chose to honor Don's parents and created the Edith and James Range Endowed Scholarship. Don and Marge have really enjoyed knowing their scholar athletes, including some names that are familiar to people in this room perhaps. Brian Latursky, Corey Kirshenman, Lucas Munsell, Andrew Rogers, Lance Kilburn, Devin Ashe, Brian Orr, and Heather Rogers. Don and Marge have attended their graduation parties, and their scholars continue to see Don and Marge when they are in Rapid City visiting relatives or attending Hard Rocker athletic events. These associations are very important to Don and Marge as they continue to attend athletic events to support the Hard Rockers today. Don and Marge are huge Hard Rocker fans and attend most football and basketball games. Occasionally they have to miss a game when they have an obligation to attend a dance. And just recently Don and Marge told me that they would not be able to attend our first football game last weekend. However, after attending the Hard Rocker lunch on the previous Tuesday and hearing Coach Tinker's juice words about needing all Hard Rocker fans to support the football team, Don and Marge were somewhat guilted and altered their plans so they could witness the great win against Dixie State last weekend. While attending games, Don and Marge bring their transistor radio with them so that they can listen to the voice of the Hard Rockers, Tom Rudebush. When I was in Liberty, Missouri for the football game home opener, I got a call from Marge asking for guidance on how to watch the football game on the internet. It worked, and they are certainly loyal Hard Rocker fans. A couple of other interesting facts about Don. He played basketball for the school Mines, and he wants to challenge Jim and the rest of the team here for some one-on-one. The gym's right over here, so we'll get your shoes on and we'll take care of it. Don spent his entire career with Honeywell, or with Hughes Aircraft in Los Angeles. And another thing they do is they schedule time each week to take piano lessons. With Organ. Yeah, I know the difference. Sorry. With all that Don and Marge do for Rapid City and Hard Rocker athletics, 2 attributes are very evident to me and should serve us all well. First, they love each other, and second, their Christian faith. Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Rocker Hall of Famers, Don and Marge Range.
may take a while. Tom Rudenbush told me to hold it down for a half hour. And Tom Mann said, if you're not good, I'm gonna get the hook and take you away from that podium. Thank you, Larry. We really appreciate it. He's been a best friend ever since we retired back here in '94. And yes, my aunt played a big part in us starting a memorial scholarship for my folks. We started that scholarship in 1999. And I'll just give you a rundown of scholar athletes that we supported. In 2001 and 2, it was Brian Matursky, a basketball player. In 2003, 4, and 5, it was Corey Kirshman, an outstanding basketball player from Rapid City. In 05, 06, 7, and 8 was a young man from Casper, Wyoming, Lucas Munsell, and he was a running back for the football team, and a very good one. Just looking through some notes, I saw he ran almost 500 yards in one game. And then after Lucas, Andrew Rogers for 2 years, and Lance Kilburn for 4 years. Lance became very close to us. He was from Kansas, so his folks would come up for almost every game. And we got to meet those and met his parents and sister and all. He invited us to his graduation party, and we were kind of floored when he sent us a thank you note for coming to his birthday, or to his graduation party. And I wanted to read it to you just so you get a feel for what it's like to have scholar athletes and being able to support them. He said, out of all of the thank you cards I have written, this one is by far the most important to me. Even though this card should be 1,000 times bigger to express my appreciation for you guys, I'll do what I can. Thank you so much for attending my party and giving me some money. It meant a lot to me to sit down and visit before I left. I can't thank you enough for my scholarship. I will keep in touch, and he has. Turned out he had a girlfriend on the basketball team, and so he came back for a couple of years and sit with us in Grandstand. After Lance, we had Brian Moore and Devin Ashe. And Brian was another fellow whose family drove here for a lot of games. They drove all the way from Michigan. And Devin Ashe was a rancher from Montana. Her mother would come down for most of the games. And then the last scholarship was given to Heather Rogers, who was a Native American from Arizona. And we got to meet her, but didn't spend much time with her. I wanted to give you a feel for the scholarship program, since it means a lot to us, and certainly probably a lot more to the athletes themselves. Being an engineer, we like charts. And we like charts that start low here. And we're talking about defects or something like that. This is a chart of athletic scholarships awarded, and it starts in fiscal year '99, that would be when we started our scholarship. And that year, they awarded just a little over $100,000 in scholarships. By fiscal year '15, that amount had risen to $940,000. That's a big increase, and I think a lot of it's due to Larry and all the hard work he did to visit alumni and get them interested. The other chart I have is just a numbers chart. They're not as much fun. It starts in 2011 and 12, and by 2014-15, this chart shows the full ride scholarships that have been equivalent scholarships that have been awarded. And in 2015, 25 for football, 4 for volleyball, 6.5 basketball. And the important thing, though, is the last column on here, and that is for 2018 and 19 allowable full ride scholarship equivalents. 36 for football, 8 for volleyball, 10 for each basketball team, 12.5 for cross country, 3.5 for golf, 5.4 for golf, 9 for soccer. Now, in order to achieve that, I don't know the dollar numbers, but it looks like we almost have to double our scholarship program. Anyway, I thought that would be interesting to you since you are coaches and athletes, and I thank you to you guys. I thank the people on the Hard Rock Club that voted us into the Hall of Fame. When Marge and I were told by Joel that we'd been selected, I'm thinking, no way. All these great athletes. Larry said I played basketball for that school. In '45, I did. I had never played high school basketball other than intramural games. But it was the end of the war and there weren't many men on campus. And so there were quite a few of us that played that year that really probably should have been doing something else. My most negative highlight was when the coach put me in. I was a guard, and I thought I was pretty good at defense, and it turned out I was. I stole a ball from the opposite team, dribbled down to our basket, and fumbled the ball. That was my highlight.
Going to let me say a few words too. What I remember is when we decided to retire, we kind of didn't know for sure where we were going to go, but I'd always liked the Black Hills. I usually came through here on my way hunting out in Wyoming, and so we decided on Rapid City, and I'm very pleased that we did. And we got involved with the School of Mines Sports right away after we moved here. And I remember that the first people I met were Bart Felderman and Lori Coble and Tom Rudebush. And then after that, Larry. So we started making friends. I started making friends. He knew a lot of these people beforehand, but I didn't. So I'm so glad that we did, and I'm proud to be a rowdy rocker.
Can I get a picture, Iron? Please.
Of course.
Don, turn your lights off when we get to the ramps on your car.
And that's dedication. Will you all please join me in welcoming James Smith, who will be introducing Jim Smith.
Nothing like public speaking and get your heart going and your blood flowing. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to thank the School of Mines Alumni Association for recognizing this achievement, my dad's achievements, both at this institution and in his professional career. I know I speak for my family when I say thank you very much from the bottom of our heart. In 1951, James E. Smith from Pierre, South Dakota, became the quarterback of the Hardrockers football team. James was the son of the Honorable Judge St. Clair Smith and Catherine Smith. Also at this time, my father was a student body president as well as a member of the Sigma Tau fraternity. In the football season of 1951, the Hardrocker football team won a perfect 8-0, an unblemished record, having the best defensive record in the nation for teams which played 8 games. And they were the champions of the South Dakota Intercollegiate Conference. Their football coach at the time, Barney Llewellyn, was quoted as saying of the team, "It is always a pleasure to coach men who are willing to accept discipline, criticism, hard work, and who on 8 successive weekends play as if winning isn't the most important thing, but the only thing." That year, they beat Huron 19-0. They beat Dakota Wesleyan University 32-7. They beat Southern, which I believe might have been Springfield University, 22-7. They beat Valley City 19-14, probably the closest game of the year. Sioux Falls 26-0. Yes. Madison 14-0. And Dickinson 6-0, and I might say my alma mater, Black Hill State. They beat 20-7. I guess they called it Black Hills Teachers College back then. It should be noted that in that game, my dad threw 5 times in a split T offense, and 3 of those passes were for touchdowns. However, the next day in the journal emphasized pretty much the miscues of Black Hill State as opposed to my father's throwing achievements. With the assistance of my friend, or new friend, Larry, of the Alumni Association, we were able to locate Dad, a former teammate of yours. He was the center of your football team by the name of Ralph Tesla. And in talking to Ralph, he said a lot of different things, but to summarize, he said, when I asked him to say a few words with regard to my father, he said he was a very good football player. He was the leader of the team, and he did a great job. After earning a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry here, my father in 1961 earned a law degree from George Washington University. And I must say, I had to try to find these dates in your professional resume and all the different career achievements. I hope I got them in the right order. If I haven't, I apologize. Upon completion of his law degree, he had many career achievements. In 1963 through 68, he was the deputy manager and associate federal legislative counsel of the American Bankers Association. In 69 through 73, he was the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Congressional Relationships and then was appointed Deputy Under Secretary of Treasury. In 1971, he received the Alexander Hamilton Award. This is the highest honor bestowed on any Treasury Department official. 1973 to 76, he served as the U.S. Comptroller of the Currency. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was a presidential appointment. In 77 through 80, he was the Executive Vice President of the first Chicago Corporation. In 1980 and 95, he was the president of Walker Free Associates, a lobbying firm. And while at Walker Associates, he met James C. Free, where in 95 they began the Smith Free Group, a Washington consulting firm which Dad shared ownership of and worked until his retirement in 2015. It's pretty awesome to read this. You know, I'm proud of my dad. In closing, I would like to say that when you're building anything, you need a very strong foundation. And I believe my father feels as though the School of Mines played a part of that foundation. Without further ado, and let me get out of the way here, please allow me to introduce you to my father, number 27 in your program, Mr. James E. Smith.
At 87, I'm enjoying life, but not much of that. Obviously, 80 years. I didn't know I could do this. I'd take a better care of myself. And mines meant to me. I came here never intending to stay in school mines. I had a principal appointment to West Point. teamwork. There's no game. There's so much of that teamwork. Baseball, a little different, basketball, football, it's sport that makes itself. I think of not much is known, but I think these days about the split team. The split was a position offensive line being operated not like a spin where you back and forth 5 yards to the scrimmage. The split you and I don't want to know what it's with. I explained to a lot of people that the quarterback was like a tackle. I got tackled, somebody else had the ball. That's what I was doing. We had a great defense. Help. I think that we never I would say of the 3 years that I played,
We'll take a picture of Jim and then can I have all the Hall of Fame members up here for a group photo, please? Okay, can we get them all up here now? Nice and tight.
You're all friends. Come on in.
Okay, right here. Ready, guys? Gals, sure. 1, 2, and 3. Go to me. Go to me.
Let's hear it for the 2017 Hardrocker Hall of Fame honoree. closing words in a moment here. Hall of Fame inductees, please remember that you need to meet down on the football field tonight, about 3 minutes before halftime at the 50-yard line, so that we can do Hall of Fame honoring as well. Everyone, you should be very proud of this group. One of the things that stood out to me in starting my time here is what a special connection people feel with their school here. The South Dakota School of Mines is a special place, and you can see why. It's easy to see why. Selfishly, I want to see us continue that. I'd like to see everybody in here either start or continue to donate to the Hard Rock Club. If you're donating, please step it up. We're going to keep this going with the current folks that we have here, and we're going to continue this tradition. I've said this to a couple of folks during my short time here. Tradition never graduates. People graduate from here and they go on to great things, and you saw that today. There's a lot to be proud of, but the tradition never graduates. So please continue contributing to that tradition. Please continue coming out to our games and supporting us. Coach would say, please bring the juice tonight to the game. We're playing Pueblo at 6 o'clock, and we're going to win. We're going to go get after it. So everybody, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and support.